Itam Korwe Nedi Gargekyang Dewe Gokam Chipem Sipe de Lamitawar Nyangen de Pelam Dujuk Del Jor Ludi Dendenjir Nen Mong Duk Sum Migebang Gewele Lambe Pakye Gosum Damsik Dom Pasum. As this excellent body of mind with leisure and endowments will be difficult to obtain repeatedly in the future, right now I will accomplish the state of unsurpassed Samantabhadra to meaningfully benefit others. Also, it is not certain when the hateful enemy of this present precious body, the morrow of death, will arrive. I and other beings are impermanent, the time of death being uncertain. Since there is no opportunity for happiness wherever one is born in samsara, and since a happy existence was never seen, I will enter the path of nirvana. In order for this body with leisure and wealth to possess meaning, I will abandon the three non-virtuous poisonous afflictions, develop diligence in virtuous actions, and protect the vows and commitments of the three doors. Going for refuge. Namo Nakshenam Kanyam Pesem Jennam Dudi Nezung Lame Jangjupar Jinlab Kunjung Lama Lakyapchi Gendro Choksel Yidam Lakyapchi Parje Kensel Kandro Lakyapchi Gangye Zobo Sangye Lakyapchi Jiwa Chaktrel Hamje Lakyapchi Dzoghi Jingjong Gendun Lakyapchi Trinlen Gangdap Chukyong Lakyapchi. Namo. From now until the attainment of unsurpassed awakening, I and all other sentient beings equal to space go for refuge to the Guru, source of all blessings. We go for refuge to the Yidam, bestower of supreme siddhi. We go for refuge to the Dakini, dispeller of all obstacles. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the first among humans. We go for refuge to the sublime Dharma, peaceful and free from attachment. We go for refuge to the Sangha, the supreme field of accumulation. We go for refuge to the Dharmapalas, masters of activity. Namo. From now until the attainment of unsurpassed awakening, I and all other sentient beings equal to space go for refuge to the Guru, source of all blessings. We go for refuge to Yidam, bestower of supreme siddhi. We go for refuge to the Dakini, dispeller of all obstacles. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the first among humans. We go for refuge to the sublime Dharma, peaceful and free from attachment. We go for refuge to the Sangha, the supreme field of accumulation. We go for refuge to the Dharmapalas, masters of activity. Generating bodhicitta. Nyoya korwe semjen dungel angdreljing dewa joglang ng paranelanga kinlang tam yom nyampe semjong di jangjog ningpo top chia daki kye dagi drodrok semjen genden chir Sangye gopang tsedir do parjam Dejir hösel dorje ning poilam Lame chedir rapeten baragi. May all sentient beings of samsara be free from suffering, be joyful and truly abide in supreme happiness. We generate the supreme mind impartial toward us all in order to attain the heart of awakening. In order that we may fully benefit the beings of the six realms, we must attain the stage of Buddhahood in this very lifetime. Therefore, we will be very diligent in his unsurpassed teaching, the path of the luminously clear Vajra essence. May all sentient beings of samsara be free from suffering, be joyful and truly abide in supreme happiness. We generate the Supreme Mind impartial toward us all in order to attain the heart of awakening. In order that we may fully benefit the beings of the six realms, we must attain the stage of Buddhahood in this very lifetime. Therefore, we will be very diligent in his unsurpassed teaching, the path of the luminously clear Vajra essence. The 100-syllable Vajrasattva mantra. Nyoye Om Benzrasato Sammaya Manupalaya Benzrasato Dveno Patishto Drido Me Bhava Sutto Kayom Me Bhava Supo Kayom Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhavam Sarva Siddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucham Me Chitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Om Bhagavan Sarva Tattagata Benzrama Me Munja Benzri Bhavam Mahasamaya Sato A Om Benzrasato Sammaya Manupalaya Benzrasato Tveno Patishto Drido Me Bhava Sutto Kayom Me Bhava Supo Kayom Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucham Me Chitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tattagata Benzrama Me Munja Benzri Bhavam Mahasamaya Sato A Om Benzrasato Sammaya Manupalaya Benzrasato Tveno Patishto Drido Me Bhava Sutto Kayom Me Bhava Supo Kayom Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucham Me Chitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Om Bhagavan Sarva Tattagata Benzrama Me Munja Benzri Bhavam Mahasamaya Sato A Om Benzrasato A Om Benzrasato A Om Benzrasato A. Short mandala offering. Nyoye zaji puchu chukshing metok trang rirabling jini degen baidi sangye jingla mikte pilvayi Droken namdag jingdu je barshog Om Guru Deva Dakini Ratna Mandala Praticha Swaha. This ground is moistened with scented water, arranged with flowers and adorned with Sumaru, 4 continents and the sun and moon. By offering the visualized Buddha field, may all migrating beings take birth in a pure Buddha field. Om Guru Deva Dakini Ratna Mangala Pratija Swaha. Guru Yoga Accumulation Recitation. Nyoye Om Ahong Rang Rip Kada Jinkam Su Rang Dang Gag Me Podrangam Rang Zelza Wela Malam Dagi Dong Weselwandip Jaludro Parajingilop. Om Ahong, in the Buddha field of one's own originally pure awareness, in the palace of unceasing in radiance, is one's own vibrant energy, the root Guru, to whom we supplicate with the devoted mind, bless us to accomplish the rainbow body. Om Ahong, in the Buddha field of one's own originally pure awareness, in the palace of unceasing inner radiance, is one's own vibrant energy, the root guru, to whom we supplicate with the devoted mind, bless us to accomplish the rainbow body.
Kanji yanda de Rinpoche, Ninji Sadan de Beijing Daba, Yewan Soda, Soji Lamas, Pavo Loben Zola, Jet, Gojin Shawan, Naroda, Marmada, Papa, Gidi. Yadezum de Zava Lamada, Zaja Lama Yada Jujan. Sovan de Soda Jinji, Yadisanje Kundan, Gaden Sanje Kundan. Tenji Aza Lamara Sajo, Dazondo Lana Julajo, Nelo Toba Jinji. Anda Jojo Dongenji Dena, the Yolomar Joba Kansuda, Tanda Tempe, Tempe, Sembran de Bazan de and the other Kame, what they can better shut Ankore, Mankore. Maranda de Carode, Gure, Tenzo, the Olean and Bekitan, Malapana, Kokore, Kagadas, Taz and the Omega, Paramaka, Make, Kamatana, Savata, Pendan, Para, Pavanda, Bemuda, Marapaya, Sadam, Badam, Buddha, Madrana, Gata, Sava, Mari, Puja, Rada, Parakidem, Bengazanda, Sava, Marakarman, the other Kami, Chamada Yada Angore Mangore Maranda de Carote, Kere Tendovata Oloyan and Bekute. The Male Malapana, Kokore Kakata, Zetas, and Omake, Paramaka, Chamata. Savata, Benda Nan and the death of Sava Parapavandana, Bemuda Marapaya. Sata, Beto, Buddha, Mudranangato, Sava Mare, Pucha, Rada, Parashut, Bengazit. Sava Maragarman and the theatre. Kame, what they come at the Gata, Angore, Mankode, Maranta, the Karate, good, Tenzoyat, what the Olayan and Bekut and the Male Malapana, Kokada, Kakata, the Tasa, Omega, Paramaga, Amage, Kamatana, Savata, Habenda, Nane, Negato, Sava Parapavandana, Bemuda, Marapaya, Satan, but and Beto Buddha Madranangato, Sava Mare Putara, the Parashut, Bengazit, Sava Mara Garman, that train, Yanjang on the Tuyande, the Tranda, Sagat Devi, the Nihunga, the Tambo, that to Zambo, to Cheparji, Sagadawa, the Niti Tola, the Nihunga, the Tan Kandrum Bomji, the Nindawaki, the Tuchin. At the Masaki, the Transhunga, the Sagadavi, the Nihunga, the Nindagong Jova, Gideon Sumbing Gumbu, the Nitako, Hiwe, the Tuchin, that Tuchin, some de that and the two Cheverty, Tikabla Pavares.
So again, Today we meet again for this auspicious gathering. It is auspicious in time, in very special means. We are in the 4th Tibetan lunar month, the so-called Sakadava. And today within the Sakadava, it is the 25th day, which is actually the Dakini day. It is a day where 100,000 Dakinis naturally gather. On top, it is also the day of commemoration of the Nirvana of the great Lord Chikten Sumgön. So it's very three special, auspicious things coming together in this special day.
단 드건 조한 지디 숨 중금보데 가두 총바리세나 진에 보라중 니베 드니 초바로 젤로 차야베나 지동 지자 드니 집디 해섬도 총바리.
So the great Lord Chikten Sumgön, he was born in the auspicious time and according to the Tibetan calendar. And according to the Western calendar, it is born in 1143 after Christ.
다그 히바데 트랭게다 사가다베니 휴게 스르가라 가두그 히바르스나 드니 랍중 히바 부랍중 예베 드니 사가다베 다 트랭게 니슈가 다 트랭스마다 랍중 예베기 사든 흉알 드니 그 히바르스.
So, and it's the day also when he was born, so on this special day. So it is the month, the Tibetan lunar month, it's the fourth Tibetan lunar month, Sakadava. And again, as mentioned before, the day, according to the constellation, it's the 25th day.
찔로데 찍동 니자 줍드 드니 보 드니 메모로 그로라 드니 그
So, and he passed away in Nirvana, according to the Western counting of 1217 in the year of the fire sheep.
That then matter that train part of la page that low Jeja Sum Louis.
So, and if we count from his passing into Parinirvana to today, so there will be 803 days.
What the that day to get that you are getting some jungle Kongata, Gumba Hivari Hibe Sananda, that Gumba Yendon the Hill Sananda Gander, good Hibe to change the Rinatoya to change the Jidin Shinia.
So this is a very special day, as we said, when Lord Chikten Sumgön passed away into a Parinirvana. We could also say passed away for the benefit of sentient beings. So this is this auspicious day.
That Jidin Siade, that Petty, that Chibachiban Rawade, Aranso Gate. Sosuke ta pa ma la soba ta te la soba nirang la soba tong du hi chane tene te jidin shin nga so ta totul ndon tene chigo ba wa ta pe te dang ta halam raw na ti su da jidang da rodang den raw na ti is
Laram ji ngadi shira gomason taran chik sumrang
ta jidin sia de ngaran so na pa da ma da ten so tong du da tene 다 토툴은 드론에 되니 지리 송도 시기도와 그봐
레라 미체라 레라 고조
다테 나오나 지리바 다 하람 지리 제노데 다 데스 마도 그 동도 지리 코란 건 어디 다 지바 지리바.
So if we make an analogy, a metaphor in a worldly sense, it is like if somebody very precious to us, like one's own dear father or mother would pass away, we would bring them to a funeral. So that's like in a worldly context. So here in the more refined context, it's that was the passing away of Lord Chikten Sumgön.
어때 다 들어가서 지진게 되는 송들라 다 제단 남준이 휴대는 야다 하버도 트렌 그들이 님문데라 Then Janganzu Jidin Ya Huadla, Jeta, Yella don't you go ne? Then that ya so saya Konga Garden Tene, Garden Temple Gone, then Yella don't you go ne? So saya. That the naked told the Jidin Song the Hugoris.
So to remember the Lord Chikten Sumgön on this very special day, in general, and on this very special day, it is very appropriate to accumulate a vast amount of merit, to do the practice of 7 branch prayers and accumulation, and particularly also to remember his kindness.
No, that in a Dragonjoba, Yidisum Jugumbo, Huade, Tadanganzu, Tachulo Nani, Kaju Pachayana, then Kajula, Mambo Jura, that dear Nani, then Shadapa, Dragon Kajuris.
So if we look more in detail at the Lord, the Protector, Chikten Sumgön, generally among the Tibetan schools, we have the Kagyu school, and there's many sub-schools as known in the Kagyu. So we're talking here for Chikten Sumgön as the founder of the Drikung Kagyu.
What the end of that, Dragon Kaju Siate, Tani Kandejiri Sena, that Cho and the Mason, the Churn Gonda, or the Chumakan Gonda, or the Carson, Java Doji Chance, Tinimala, Tenitelo, Tenaro, Marpa, Malarepa, Gampo Pass, that Tenima, Tenijunity, Tenipam Pass.
So if we look at the lineage of the Drikung, of the Lord Chikten Sumgön, if we look at the gate of entrance of the lineage, it started with the great Adi Buddha, Buddha Vajradhara, and then it passed down to the Mahasiddha Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, and from Milarepa to Gampopa, and then to Pamodropa.
What the Kaju Pig Jupiter Masona, La Jude, Che Ye Chong Jes, that Jung in the Chago Mare, then the Chongarva.
Thus. So, and if we look at the lineage of the Kagyu, the lineage of the spreading of different lineages, we have like we talk of 4 grade schools and 8 sub schools.
What they and Danda Skivana Ying Pamotraba, then Gambo Pani, Loma the Pamotraba, that Pamotrabal, Loma, that J, Yorba, Loma J, Yubati, and Nancy Chilatini, the Gonka Judy Chayori.
So we heard before, we had Gampopa in the lineage, and his student was Pamodropa. Pamodropa had famously 8 very close students, and from there the lineages branched off. So in our lineage here, the Drikung Kagyu.
What they that got Kaju Pasia Sama, that Tanda you didn't get the Tandagon Kaju, then Ruba Kaju, Karma Kaju, start Tinsanji that Yuvade, Jachivado, this Techando, that they my embed, Talon Kaju say that Sharpa Sambas, that Mambo, that and so Kaji, but because of the Juba Senanda, Temba Senanda, Pejita, Nopsandwa, Juba Chesari. Then that Diana Dandati, Yuvata Kaji, Yorota, some young Akarona, that Dina, Dina, the Chahija, and the Gonkaju, Imbaris.
So originally we had like, there were 8 branches, 8 lineages. These days the situation is a little bit different. So we have very big schools, like obviously the Drupa Kagyu, the Karma Kagyu, and also Drikung Kagyu would be called among them. Then we have a little bit smaller schools, sub-schools. One of them would be the Taglong Kagyu, Shangpa Kagyu, Tsarpa Kagyu. And so we could call them different lineages or also different doctrines. And then there's even some schools, some sub-schools which disappeared. So henceforth, these days, we talk of 3, sometimes 4 or 5 big Kagyu schools.
That Yomar said the Kari Yomar, that Juba Yomar, Juba Chesomari. That Diana Danda, the Gondan, that Rupa comes in this one there, that Dandaji. That Shamba, you the Yorba, the legend. Not yin that Juba Chesomar. da juba the kitchen boji, juba mina, then it shall not miss. Da juba the kitchen boji, what did it?
So lineage is extremely important, and just in the last moment when we mentioned some lineages disappeared, that means the lineage gets interrupted, and if a lineage is interrupted, the school disappears. But still, luckily today we have great schools like the big schools like Drupa Kagyu, Karma Kagyu, Kamzang, Drikung Kagyu, also Shangpa Kagyu obviously is still there. And again, these other lineages which disappear means the lineage got interrupted. And if a lineage is interrupted, there is no blessing.
That Juba did some Gumbo, Huade, Kandejini, Shumari Savayana, Deda Sanji, Maranzo Sanji Kitreda, Sanji Shaja to be Kitrin, Doda, Jude, Pejin Doju. The longest saying wood in the song, the longest in Baji, the negative it is.
So if we look on the appearance of Jigten Sumgön and how he appeared, so it goes back to all the lineages of the Buddha Shakyamuni, and in particular, he received a vast amount of instructions of Sutra and Tantra from this lineage.
At the end, Tadando. Chayon Dode, Sanjik longest sensor de, then Yishi Yonso Japan Dode, Rinpoche le, the Lesondo. Mao Pata, Trading Himalas, and Mao, but not trading Hima Kabla, then a Changacho, Buddha that Changacho, so Kawachi, Re Judula, then a Mayan Demba, Java Chuji. Renji Parishawa, Jonjo de started Renji Parsia, Joran since you were Renji Parishawa, Jonjo days.
So there's different prophecies, as I said, according to Sutra and Tantra, which point to the coming of Lord Jigten Sumgön, according to the primordial wisdom, which is expounded in the sutras, for example, which goes back to the word of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni. It says, in future, in the degenerated time, in the snowy ranges of the north, there will be a guide for beings, a guide which is guiding people according to their needs with the name of a Rinchen Pal. So that's a name of Jigten Sumgön.
That data we get in Mancho 10 and Jigtin comes to task. Nayatin Savashe yours, and there's only what is done.
So it says he will be famed and well known in this world and be renowned under this name.
That Nagin Bata, Jude Yantini, Kunzan Togme Yanda Ju Siano, that tell us about that, though the Judah Mambo the longest in is.
Then also in many tantras, he's mentioned, his coming is mentioned in the Kunzang Togme Gyu, Kunzang Togme Tantra, and many other tantras. There is mentioned that there will be an appearance of a Jigten Sumgön.
And Sanji Ka Tambo Chujin Kolo Kosa, Kablayana, Ka Tambo Latoba, do Trembanya Yada, Ka Parbala Tabetani, Yom Tonra Jaba, Ka Tamal Tobala, Chombunji, Per Parjin Shubendo. That is one of the longest in back it is.
And then also according to the teachings which the Buddha taught, like according to the first turning of the wheel, the Four Noble Truths. In this context on sutras, there's also the mentioning of prophecies of a Jigten Sumgön. In the second turning of the wheel, with the essence of the 8,000 verses of the Mother Prajaparamita, there is a prophecies which point to the coming of Lord Jigten Sumgön. Also in the third turning, for example, in the Paljin Shepardo, there's also a mentioning of Lord Jigten Sumgön.
Oh, then I came back at that. Oh, Lobon the drop, Pangum Baba, the drop, that. Is a Manjisalanda, that the Kieva Shogun, that Ruba Shogun, that's the name back at that. Mamboji, the drop Niba into that, and the Mamboji longer. Thing, but it is.
On top, there's many prophecies that Jigten Sumgön, that actually a second Nagarjuna will appear, or that Jigten Sumgön is the one which is non-dual, inseparable from Nagarjuna, henceforth is also often called an emanation of Nagarjuna, or the second Nagarjuna.
that you are a trang to the here the Karasena. Then you are a song. They charge him, Nadinsia, Tirwa.
So what I will explain today and transmit is an essence teaching of Lord Jigten Sumgön. It is called the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra. Chakchen Ngaden.
That charging Nadinsia, the Chetan, Tanda charging Nadinsia, the Sui Gig Masonga, Ying Masonga, do the Jew can mewaji, this Jovaka song Gavaji Mari. Enaya, Tan do the Jude Sanji Gala, that you Mambo Yorvata, but judge thanks about Mambo Judu Gane, that dear Nanajan, Tenita, Yams Lana, Kansa Jigger and Yanin Chivana, that Kandaji Kan Sabari, Sena, Tenita Lamde, Chajachim, Nas, and Nadin Kon, so Dune, 10 Yams labor Chena, Tenita, Casada.
So if we look at the fivefold path of Mahamudra, generally we can say that the teachings of the Lord Buddha Shakyamuni in the two classes of Sutra and Tantra are extremely manifold and very profound. So it doesn't accompany all the vast array of all the Sutra teachings and Tantra teachings, but it's the quintessence of the practice. How do we really apply the essence of all these teachings of the Buddha in Sutra and Tantra? How do we henceforth bring it on the path? And this is exactly what is essentialized in the fivefold path of Mahamudra. So henceforth, we could say of the great vehicle, there is no teaching which is in essence not included in this fivefold path of Mahamudra.
Ngan nangba cheyins ngan nangba le shuins ngan nangba shuna kande cheguris tende mangba kejari dingwa nopcho ge inari kharcho inari ngan nangba pe gandus tende ngan nangba shuins nangba shuna kande chegurin da odi lagdwa ta tende nangba shuena kande cheguris na ta pena jowaram bo song ga di lam ngad nyani cheguris tina so duyari Mother Sanji got Kanjor logo, Tenjor logos, young Marva, or Tina, Yamni Tam Kiederi, Yams and the Yakati, Lam Samo, Yamni Tamjik, Nanga, Samon de Consulate, Mother Mees, or Tesson.
So generally, if we look, there's many people in the West, but also in the East, who say, like, I have an inclination to Buddhism. I would like to embark on the path of Buddhism. How can I embark? Or how can I even become a Buddhist? So if we bring this in the context now of this fivefold path of the Lord Jigten Sumgön, generally we realize that we will not have the leisure or the capacity to read all the words of the Buddha, of the Kangyur and the Tengyur, the direct words of the Buddha and all the commentaries, these vast volumes. So henceforth, if we want to bring it into the essence of the practice, that which we can really incorporate and apply, this would be this fivefold path of Mahamudra. In fact, there's nothing in essence which is not included in this fivefold path of Mahamudra.
Tachira de Kanjo de Maji Loda, Tina Tasena, Kanjo po the Jala Sujiri, Tata Tambo Log on the Lord Kijima, Lona Yantin, Dinani, Ta Kandeji Goni, Gon Bason, Kandeji Nani and Jukundo, Kenzan of Bason, Kande and Zago to the Kaka and go to Marva, what the Insan and the Joaram Buchin this song there, Ta Lam Sidikata, Lamrava, Lam Samo, the Lam Samo. Tarpa Lam and Royal, Sanjay Confan Royal, Lam Samo, the Chada Chimpondi, not Consta, Yanga and Dina and Judy.
So if we look, for example, of the Buddha's teachings, just the Kangyur, we have more than 100 volumes, 100 plus volumes. And if we would try to read them all, first of all, this would be a vast endeavor. It would be so much, but then even if we would would be able to read it, we would think, well, how do we actually apply it? What are the individual steps? How do we incorporate it? So this would be quite challenging, and there will be actually no limit to this. But then here again, on the other hand, the fivefold path of Lord Jigten Sumgön, it is extremely profound. It is a direct path which can lead to liberation, and it is a path which can, excuse me, even lead to a full Buddhahood. So henceforth we have the path of the fivefold Mahamudra.
Hotel da jowa Rinpoche ge ngorji sonori te ngadinga da tasik na de ngorji yori. Te karesena dangbo tela tsikde karsona jamden ningji tapola yinpinji juto maje na chom lami orche mjongwe sem hundondala nendin rus ta dangbo jikte hunro gore yesona deri.
So if we look now at this the text of Fivefold Path Mahamudra, it is a song of realization written by the Lord Jigten Sumgön himself. And the first verse here, it says, if the race of helping others, if the distance of the race of helping others has not been fully covered upon the stallion of love and compassion, the cheers from crowds of gods and humans will not come, so persevere in this primary intention. So that's the beginning, the nondro, the primary intention or the preliminaries.
다 ngunro de la kande song de na nyamni chi du kala ngunro se de kande nyamni ji dangbo tene tumong ngunro lodo number ye tene tumong mai be ngunro tene da japsun ro ba tene ngarji didab junga doje sembo gomde tene tunjin so sa ba la menda je te tene jula shenam ju bar she ba de lam nam jors.
So if we look at nondro means a preliminary practice. How do we apply it? What is the actual practice of the nondro? We have two, a general and a special or specific nondro. The general or common nondro is the 4 thoughts which turn the mind away from samsara. And then we have the 4 uncommon parts of nondro, which are, or the uncommon parts of nondro are like the motivation and taking refuge, purification of obscurations through the practice of Vajrasattva. Then we have the accumulation of the twofold heaps of merit and wisdom, which is the practice of the mandala offering. And then to receive finally the blessing through the Guru Yoga.
Tate tumonda tumomai bengunro tate gande chebar jungunro so chebar jungunro da jamba de ninje ne janjob sem gomya de chebar jungunro.
So this is the common and uncommon nondro, which was just mentioned, and then we have the special nondro. Like a special feature of the nondro is actually the giving rise to an altruistic motivation of loving kindness and compassion. And then the generation of the mind of enlightenment.
So this is So
the stages for giving rise to bodhicitta or the mind of enlightenment. The first step of it is the meditation, contemplation and meditation of loving kindness. So loving kindness, generally, we should extend loving kindness to all sentient beings, but in actual application, practical application, we start at the root, what is closest to us in this very lifetime. So the closed is the close ones around us, around me, and particularly one's own kind mother, one's dear mother. So that's the first object of a practice of loving kindness, Jamba. And then gradually we extend it more and more, stage by stage, till in the end we extend it to all countless sentient beings. So to practically apply loving kindness, we start, as mentioned, with our very dear kind mother. So yes, to remember the kindness of one's own mother, that without one's own mother, we would not have a body. We would not have like a life force in us. And also she was the one who taught us all the preliminaries of what is to be accepted and abandoned, the very worldly conduct, how we eat, how we clothe, how we go about, and all these things we learned initially from our mother. So henceforth, it's important to always remember the kindness of one's own mother. So that's the first stage of practice of mind training, was loving kindness. The second is compassion. So also with compassion, likewise, similarly like with loving kindness, with compassion, we start first with our very close one. So that's the mother again. So here we would give rise to the thought, oh, if my mother would suffer, even if somebody would inflict her great harm, even to try to cut one of her limbs, or even actually cut, or try to cut her head, or if she would have other suffering, we would give rise to deep altruistic motivated compassion. And then again, from the mother, we would slowly extend it to ultimately include all other sentient beings. So first, as mentioned, we start with loving kindness, then with compassion, and then we move towards the giving rise to enlightened mind, the bodhicitta. And in bodhicitta, we have two stages. So there's relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta. In fact, there's would be so much to say about that, but this is just now a brief general presentation. So if we look at relative and absolute bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta is then divided again into the two. The first would be like the aspiring bodhicitta as first, and then entering bodhicitta. So these are the two stages of the relative bodhicitta. And then on the other hand, absolute bodhicitta is the recognition of the significance of Mahamudra.
Lodo number years, low do, said Titanda Cocory, low do, said Long Kovala dog or what did Doyaga tap Garagorusina, the last low dog is in a young man, Doyaga tapping out the Garcusina. Tanda Tamir Niebrakawa, Chiva Madaba, Casa Nima le jumdes lodo bichut to gom jule jing ba gom. De gomba yana tene kowal lodo. Kowal ninjong de samode. Ya tan chong sen da ya je yong gro. O ti to ne tene cho sa ta de hiwa na yin cho sa de ba jang. Hundu to. Ti ga de jang de sem ki. Te ta te ke chen ba dang bo te yin so. Jang ta da kon hiwa na yin ke jang ni do se hundu de ne din ju ta hundu se ro ta hundu se de ngiki ngunan ro goya ke ta karre se ne ke che yo ta tanda de re so gore hundu de ne din ju.
So, and then before when we talked about the non-draw, we talked about the common and then the uncommon. So the common would be, as mentioned before, the four thoughts. In Tibetan, it's called lo tok. So it means actually to turn away the mind. So we turn the mind away from samsara. And in order to turn the mind away from samsara, we need a method. Just saying the words to turn the mind away from samsara would not do it. We would need a profound method. And the method, upaya, is exactly these four thoughts. So the first would be thoughts of contemplation, the contemplation upon the preciousness of this human life. So that's the first. You're all well known by you guys. And the second is contemplation upon impermanence. The third about the law of cause and effect. And the fourth of the suffering suffering of samsara. So if we truly contemplate and meditate these four thoughts, our mind will naturally turn away from samsara and will turn towards dharma. So naturally we will give rise to renunciation from samsara. So these are the practices. And then based on that, as said before, we purify our mind stream from obscurations through the practice of Vajrasattva, accumulate merit through the mandala offering, and then give rise to the actual bodhicitta after having practiced loving kindness and compassion. So that's coming back to the quote of Lord Chitan Sumgön in the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra. It says in the end then, so persevere in this primary intention or in these preliminary practices. So henceforth, these non-draw or preliminary practices are very important, and we should truly, deeply persevere with diligence.
Ta tenzan tende yondo kage ke lago zoba chembo nyani chia la ngundo yo mare ngundo go mare chaje chembo la ngundo go revese tende da kage tende tawanda tende le do wa o tende mare ngundo de ta inji mini chaje chembo na re zoba chembo na re ngundo go yo re ta ngundo ngomane ko sa sangi ji na te an nasor kharwa ma do ke ngundo mewa ji la tene ngugi nyamne de chia pe kabure tu mare 다 nguma se den me da kiwa nguma da oje ya ko jangba ngom song de kan za yin na ya ko te ne so ka ri ma do be ne za wa ni ne ni lam ram ba yin da ma ro wa ji la ne yung ma re.
So, but then today there's also some people who say, well, if we practice Dzogchen, maybe you don't need a preliminary practice, you don't need non-draw. But then maybe from Mahamudra, you do need preliminary or non-draw practice. Well, this is not really true. So, in fact, for both, even if you want to practice Dzogchen or Mahamudra, you need to have this preliminary practice or the non-draw. It is essential and important. Without non-draw, there will be no true stage and path. There is except a few exceptional individuals who have a lot of preps from their past lives, who are so instantly realizing what is to be realized in Mahamudra Dzogchen. Except them, everybody needs to practice the stages of non-draw.
Nando garjena sachakin gongur, garjena dzogchen gongur sanarwa. Garjena gongur sanado ta tabe chakin gomsana namjin ke kombari, dzogchen gomsana namjin ke kombari ta ko mingi talore mado ke nando sanji komba top se do te kanda chakin sana teri dzogchen sana teri mado ke sanji komba sing loga ji wa marwa ta peri
So why are we actually practicing Mahamudra? Why are we practicing Dzogchen? It is the means, the profound means to ultimately reach a state of omniscience, or to reach a stage of full and complete enlightenment. So that's why we practice Mahamudra or Dzogchen. So there's no other Buddhahood than the essence of a Mahamudra or Dzogchen.
Dzogchen siya kadu shungwa na ti kap tedu ni koran hundo siya tiga de yori. Tena yin chachin tiga de tedu de yori mado ke tangbo dzogchen siya chachin siya de shungwa tene shisu chiso tandala hundo je gosari shisu suya tene marwa. Tangbo nini koran dzogchen siya de yoba ti kap chachin siya ti kap ni koran yu dewa ji hundo de ngugi siya de yu dewa ji riyisi.
So it is important to understand for us that both in the context of Mahamudra or Dzogchen, there's always like a preliminary practice and then the actual or the main practice. So, and there's also this sequence, there's this order. It's not that first you have the essence of the Mahamudra or Dzogchen instructions or the commentaries, and then afterwards would come some practice of Nondro. No, there's actually the sequence of the Nondro or the preliminary stages, preparation, and then the actual practice afterwards of Mahamudra or Dzogchen. So in this context, there's also a very famous quote from Lord Chiten Sumgön where he says, even more profound than the main practice, meaning here of Dzogchen and Mahamudra, even more profound than the main practice is the preliminary practice. Usually we think or we say, well, there's the preliminary practice of the non-draw and then the actual profundity is the actual practice. No, he just turns it around. Even more profound than the main practice is the preliminary practice. So if we look at the analogy of a house or constructing a house, the most important is the foundation, and then the foundation of strong walls, but particularly the foundation, the grounding. So that's the non-draw, that's the preliminary. No matter how beautiful and nice a house is, if the foundation is not strong, the whole house is not really strong. So that's the significance of the non-draw, the foundation, and that's why non-draw is so deep and profound. So then there's also another dimension of non-draw, the actual accumulation. You might be familiar with that. We do 100 times of each, which then it goes into 500,000. So it's not just about counting either, the non-draw. So we have to practice non-draw in an authentic way, just merely counting it, and that we put the only focus on just counting the numbers, that would not do it. For example, if we talk about the common nondro, where we have the 4 thoughts which turn the mind, which we just covered. You have to really bring the deep meaning, the contemplation, the deep meaning of it together with your mind. Your mind has to merge with the deep significance of these 4 thoughts. Likewise, also in the uncommon nondro, in the practice of refuge, you really have to merge your mind with taking refuge in an authentic, pure way. And also if you practice Vajrasattva, you won't just to recite the mantra, Metta Sattva Samaya and so forth. It has to really bring together with an authentic mind, authentic motivation, what is called also the 4 powers. So it is important that we merge it with our mind in an authentic way and bring forth the deep significance of it.
Nela Pobaji, Sosuke, Rigor Madoke, Tagamjiki, Lomamboji, Tankamo Saga, Samjiki, Tetsamjiki, Penton Maris.
So the same, I would say also, and I said many times, it's about, we have about the numbers and then also the span of time, or the time span. It's not just, oh, I do nondro for, or the preliminary practice, let's say for a few years, for 3 years, 7 years, 9 years, 30 years, or even a whole life. It's about the quality, the authenticity, and it has to ripen into a practice. So it won't just do the numbers, nor the time span of years which we practice it.
Okay, that's the Tambo, Nadine and the Tambo Mundo. Tani Battle Carson. Joarambo get this on Nibatella, Ranlu Laku Japola, Yemi, Jetensa Mazena, Mount Andrew Comban Mundave, Luyadam Jalala Nedinjo, Stani Battle, Yadam Lakongo.
So this covered the first verse of this song of realization of the fivefold path of Mahamudra. The second is the practice of the Yidam. So the quote goes this way: if the stronghold of unchanging ground is not seized in one's own body, the king of the deity, the court of Mother Dakinis and retinue will not convene. So persevere in the Yidam of the body.
That's a Kasana Ranga, Tadangaranto Ranga, Pumboda, Kamda, Genji, the Tam, Jetambo, Nicol, Lungi Trabaji, the time you call Lungi Trabaji is better, Randy Casa, Flaku Jabo said the Jabo is also good, Randy the Tambo, the Jabo is it better. Then you got it, Randy Flaku Jabola, Yen you meet it, there's a Mazona, Mankan to come Mendoza. That uncle did the Lago Yins at Tambo and Rangi Lungi to Brand Lago Yins. Mother Saturday as we out in Maris.
So there's a deep significance in this second verse. So this very body which we have now, our physical appearance of the body with its aggregates, the skandhas, and elements, constituents, which are the dhatus, and the sense sources, the ayatanas, if you're familiar with them. So they're spontaneously, primordially there as the king of the deity. So the body itself is one's own body, the king of the Yidam or Yidam deity. So that's a deep significance to understand this. It's not something which appears anew or which is generated new. It is there since the beginning.
In that Koran, you learn to travel around La Pumbo comes the kids La read the Tana to Gom to go and Gom to go. Gom to go. They did that, Lade, La Mazone, La the Tamar the Zimba, number of Yoruba, but Tito by the Pa Jane. Then he rang with La. Go in somebody, but not lying some mother, not like Gom with somebody, not lying somebody go. Not like Gom to somebody, and do your mother. They do not lie in somebody, like just like the Gomgo, like Gom the thing, not lie in somebody. But that Tito the Gomgo is.
So we have this deep meaning, as just pointed out, that our body is primordially, it is by nature the spontaneous appearance of the deities. Again, our skandhas, our aggregates, our elements, our sense sources, skandhas, dhatus, ayatanas, are by nature spontaneously the deity. But it is not enough to just say that, because with it goes a very subtle discursive dualistic thinking and attachment to the deity, and this has to be purified. So in order to purify that, we have to practice it. We have to practice the Yidam practice, not superficially, but in the true authentic way, that we realize that which was always spontaneously there.
Tepe yarapena jaboji inaya jabu seri inaya ko jabogari correct the jabori jabu seri inaya ko jase de mazona ine ko kasa jaboge kiroda land mazona di chasa ko duyo marwa ko inje da jabori ko jabu seri de inaya ko kita ko charji jinzen se mambo lega yoro jero 다 된저 같은 그 레도도 딱그 제로가 가서 다지 연디에 맞아 차창하데 딱그 내가 레고 말아봐나 어때 되리 뼈대다.
If we would give a worldly example, a worldly metaphor for this, if we have a line in the family of a king, the king and its son, the prince, the firstborn prince, he will naturally become the king. But if he's not acting accordingly, or if he even forgets, would leave the kingdom and forgets that he's the prince, and is not trained that he actually actualizes the qualities of a future king, even though by nature he's the successor, the throne holder, he would not seize what is naturally his.
That's it, I get it. When man can't come back, mother, that pay attention. 그 제복의 자세성에 제복의 사와샤와 얘나 되는 방 참만 더 그러 봐나. 내 말은 그런 제복이 되나 그 가이 내가 요 말은 그 원차 요 말은 그 내가 내 말에서는 공부도 더 말아. 다 제복 임바지. 제복 되겠더니 자세성에 되는 나와 줄나 되는 망다. 다 가리나 참만 더 그러 봐. 잔도 니 정세 다서 제복 내가 서로 왔다 지토로 왔다 돼.
So it says, if we don't do this, if we don't seize this ground, then it says the court of Mother Akinis and retinue will not convene. So even if we, in this example again, would be born as a prince, the throne holder, if we don't act accordingly, if we don't give rise also on the outer way, the qualities, and will actually take hold later of the throne of a king, we will not get the authority, the power of the king, even though naturally we are in this line and we are predestined to be the throne holder.
어때 당아도 라 공부도 예담가 라 공부도 답에 공부 좀 진짜 답에 개치 뭐 인성 란 라기는 뭐 예담란 내딘 주 만칸 공부하면 뭔데 예담제 살란 내딘 주 스타데 니바데.
So that's why it is so important that we do practice the deity yoga or Yidam practice, and henceforth again in the last two lines. So if we don't do this, as the court of Mother Akinis and retinue will not convene, so therefore persevere in the Yidam practice of your own body. So that's the second verse.
다 숨바들 가르쳐서나 라마 꾸기 강르라 무구지 니마 마샤나 진압지 추주인 문정회 sem 무군들라 내진주 세다 데리 숨바데.
So then we proceed naturally to the third one. The third is the Guru Yoga, where it says, if the sunlight of devotion has not dawned upon the Guru's four kaya, snow mountain, the flowing river of blessings will not come. So persevere in the mind of devotion.
Sem mugun들라 내진주 스타 sanab chujuin mujos sim mugu da nedin dus ta mugu ta da se bana yi lama de Kuyi Kanada is Ra Chenab Yukar is Penakara, Kan Yukarva.
Mm.
And I Nima Sharkundu, Nima Mahana Chuyunguma, Petena Gimbaki, Lamata Kuyi Dani, Rite, Kuyi Dani, Kuyi Chenab Udingi Rite, and I then Sosuki Drupaporange, then Mugo Sundua, Muguni Mata.
Mhm.
At the time, Sosu Tony, Lama Kugi the Kanata, which tell Chela Meva Marachena, you there is. And I thought Sosu Tony, Mugu is.
Mhm. So the essence of this is so we have the blessing of the Lama and devotion from the individual student side. So the Lama is the essence of the four kayas, just appearing as a huge serene snow mountain. So which is here the metaphor for the root of all the blessing. But now from the individual side, from my perspective, how can I receive this blessing? So I can only receive the blessing if the sun is shining upon this snow mountain of the Lama of the four kayas. And the sun is the sunlight of devotion from my individual side.
Or the Kantan, the Yamni Kapsula, the Joram Bojindi, Nadin Yamni Kamdela, the Lama Kasa Lama Chukotar Doctor, the Lama Longo drop, Lama Troko drop, Lama Ngoni could drop Senator, go here, Rikin Koran, Chukolongo to Ngoni Goni, Doctor the other, then the here Goni, the Lama Namjuchi is.
So then in the more extensive practices of this fivefold path of Mahamudra, according to Lord Chitan Sumgen, in this third stage of the Guru Yoga, there's actually one practice individually upon the four kayas of the Lama. So there's a practice upon the Dharmakaya aspect of the Lama, upon the Sambhogakaya aspect of the Lama, upon the Niyamanakaya aspect of the Lama, and then also the essence or Svabhavikakaya aspect of the Lama.
That Chenab Sayade, Chenab Sayade, that Lama Drone, Chenab Shosigandua, Chenab Shosiada Garesana, Lamege, To. That Chuko Longo Drogo, that Soso Chenanda, Kido Domnanda, Ganda, Tini Tode, Lama Truco, Lama Longo, Lama Chuko, Lama Ngoni Kuge, Ti Tode, then Aranso get same tea la, then Nismeva Jiro. Yeah, Nismeva Jita, Lama told the answer, Yemiti. Chungayana, then he cannot that Mama tells you. Cannot top said.
So if we look at the word of blessing or chin lap, some has translated also of waves of inspiration literally, but blessing generally. So it says if we practice upon the Lama, we receive the blessing. So what is meant by that? So from the enlightened mind, from the chitta of the Lama is the essence, either the essence of the four kayas as one essence, or the Lama in the sphere of the Nirmanakaya, Sambhogakaya, Dharmakaya, and then Svabhavikakaya. So the chitta or the enlightened mind of the Lama is to be recognized as non-dual from my own individual mind. Or in other words, to inseparably unite or merge one's own mind, with the enlightened dimension of the chitta mind of the Lama. So that's what is meant of receiving blessing.
Take us the Lame told the young, Lama told the cookie Dani, cookie Garangi, Chukulungo Trogotang, when you cook yes and other costumes and other kanda, here Imba, custom the cookie Dani Imba. There na Imba Ryan, then it could get a custom Dani Imba de Taco Gurva, or Tindu, Imba de, then Kare Imba de, Nello Korango Kare Imba de. Lame Getita, Toga, Nello Tedan, Ranga Sem Nello, Kiba Madani, don't tell me what you are, or that did, the Jig Madani Yamari, or that did on the Toyana, then there's an abs.
So again, if we talk about the enlightened mind or Chitta of the Lama, it is the embodiment of the 4 kayas, sometimes also named as 3 kayas, again, embodiment of 4 or 3 kayas. But then also me from the individual side, in actuality, in the true sense of the mode of abiding of reality, I'm also in essence the embodiment of the 4 kayas, 4 or 3 kayas. So that's to be recognized. It is to be recognized that the true mode of abiding or the true reality of the essence of the Chitta enlightened mind of the Lama, as well as my own mind, Sem, is in essence the same. So they are one, they are not two, henceforth this non-dual unity. And to recognize this means to receive blessings.
Oh, that go pay and yara, that lama can go pay and the yana. Nimadan, the Congress had a pay Yaramata, Toma, Koano, the Kogura.
So that's a true significance, the deep meaning of it. Again, in the verse, it's in the metaphor, in the simile or metaphor that the Lama is the snow mountain of the 4 kayas, and the student's devotion is the sunlight which shines upon the snow mountain. But the deep significance is just what was mentioned before.
That the Jabba Delateri, Joarmi and Gorgi, Semi, that had a symbol. Semi Janamka Yangbala, Namdo Gatinzo Madana, change Zakar Matawe, Sematon de la Nendin Zusia, that the Gorgi, Jabba.
So then in the Fivefold Mahamudra, the 4th verse, the actual practice of Mahamudra, it says, if the cloud masses of thoughts have not subsided, within the spacious sky of the nature of mind, planets and stars of twofold knowledge will not shine. So persevere in the non-conceptual mind.
That they got a semi Janamka, semi is the good, Chugo. Semi Chugo, the pen and Nanga Kazol Korazode, big and Nangada. Semi Nanga Yambalas. That Namdo the lower Lingy Jitama, Senanda, that Ganda Namdo Gatinzo the Palm Madana, then it came by Nizaga the Madas, Timba the Palm Madana, the Karmalas of Hagmar Zada, Karmasia, Tungumari, Tagamari, Tungumari, Yoda Yova, the Tungumari, Tagamari, or the other Gane, the same Madonna and into Woods.
So if the cloud mass of thoughts have not subsided within the spacious sky of the nature of mind. So nature of mind here is Semni, so it's an actual nature of mind, which is the same as the Dharmakaya. And a metaphor for the Dharmakaya nature of one's mind is the sky, the open, vast sky. And then on the other hand, we have the temporary obscurations of discursive, of dualistic thinking, which is like the clouds. So if the clouds cover the sky, if the sky is overcast, we cannot see the planets and the stars of the twofold knowledge or deep insight. Even though they're obviously there, the planets and the stars, but we could not see it if the sky is covered with clouds. Henceforth, it says, so persevere in this non-conceptual mind.
Oh, that's the Dambo. That tree, the Chibakala, that tree colored in the Lata. Now the Parsin Kavinas, something the Parsin, here the Parsin or then I gave a kata, something that Hirap said, Yoro, Sananda, I Hene Landon Sananda, Pedi Tunda Halam Tiwan go inside, something the Hirap said, the Hene Landon said.
So then in the actual instructions upon Mahamudra, the instructions or practices, sometimes we talk about the practice in the context of the Prajaparamita. We talk about the practice of deep meditative absorption, dhyanas, and then the wisdom or prajna. So that's one, dhyana and prajna. And also we talk in different contexts about the practices of calm abiding, shamatha, and the practice of deep meditative insight, vipassana. But in actuality, these two stages are almost the same. They're just almost synonymous. Dhyana and prajna on one side, and shamatha and vipassana.
After the Tango Henes or Henes, Citela, any same depa Hevada Netuya, T Taptela, Henes or Hene, T Tabia, Gomiatela, Hene Goms.
So if we look first at the practice of a calm abiding or shamatha, so the method in order to pacify the mind is shamatha. So the meditation or practice of shamatha is there to, it's the upaya, the profound method to pacify the mind.
Then Magomna, then I do send the Tila Yorba, best Tandandi, the sold the Tender Union and you are. Number Hiba Punda Sondua, number Hiba, number Punda says it. Pete or Maraban the Hill, now he the kind of pay, the number Hiba Punda Sondua. That you can now hit the candy on an answer to the night. You get number that they are payco. That part then at you cruise, you wouldn't number that make that and the candy part of no or that then always number Hiba Punda.
So, and if we don't practice calm abiding or shamatha, our mind is too active and stirred up. In the context of the 12 links of interdependent origination, it says that this consciousness of ours is like a monkey, this untrained consciousness, based upon ignorance with the arising of consciousness, which is like this monkey, this untrained monkey, which is wild in his physical activities, his consciousness through the eye consciousness and so forth. So that's the metaphor for the untrained mind.
Well, that same the Heneg Hiva Netuya, sing Luluya, Luboya, same the Hiva Netuya, the Bayan, that catching boys are that also that gum, the same gum, the other in the India. That time my the same Lulucia, the Canina Yanta, Nandoki, Lu Soya down, the same Soya down, then so set there was Lu so, same so. What that the sort of the same here near the so I got that tap young, yeah, heard it in Sarva.
So henceforth we have these profound instructions of a calm abiding, that to pacify all these stirrings of the mind and to abide relaxed freely or naturally. So henceforth we have a calm abiding. So all these activities of commotion of our body and mind, the profound method to pacify them or to come to a natural rest and relaxation is calm abiding or shamatha.
That Della Hene Goradan, Damra Mambo, sorry. Henela Tin Yuadan, Tin Meva, Tinjin Temisiano. That Tinjin Mubonda Wajita, Karenati Yan and Wajik. That daughter Hin La Soba, that Temanji Mig Tasarbat, Mig Patasa, Mig Yogi Tasando Yone. Didn't tell Samba Ten and my own Wachianda. Then it tell a Tinjin Seado. Didn't Temi Seattle long Yubadan, long Meva, long Jin, long Mi Seado. That the nigger Tony counter send them out near Sim Nesia, that Namdon Ramadaji. Their bucket, Namdo Gison Ram Marova. Mom, but Namdo Ya Sumayawa. It Tande, Gabget, Namdo T, that Jison Ram Marova, that T. Tondola, the Hene Gongorva, that's the Tamdamara, Tenji, Temi, Longi, Lumises.
So if we look roughly into the methodology of shamatha or calm abiding, generally we talk there is a calm abiding with support and without support. So calm abiding with support could be any, let's say, mundane support like a peckle, a small stone, a piece of wood. something which we have in front of us and which our mind and the I consciousness undistractedly abides. So one-pointedly, undistractedly abiding upon a support. So that's called shamatha with support. And then we have also the stages of shamatha without support. So here we have the stages of practicing with a prana, with our breath or without the breath. So there's different methods which we can apply with support, without support, other methods in shamatha practice. But the essence is always that our mind, our discursive thinking comes to a natural state of peace and relaxation. So which means that we don't follow the discursive thinking, the thoughts and emotions of the past. We don't anticipate the future. And for the present moment, we don't fabricate the present moment. So without doing this, naturally abiding, so this is the means of peaceful, calm abiding of shamatha.
다 농미 스가 다 농진게 농사 다 수로 오데 오데 종조 네 소음데 데라 심데네 지아데 농진지 다 농미 스가 가에 심 간에데 메디는 거 띠마잖아 봐 코란게 심 코란게 라힌저 밥가르 띵아 봐 이가게 디간 데야 다 데라 대승도 티당을 해야 되거든 농미.
So when we before talked about shamatha without support, there, if you remember, we have the practice with prana, basically means breath here. So there will be practices all where we work with inhalation, exhalation, and the abiding of breath between these two, inhalation, exhalation. But then in the stage of the practice of shamatha without support, without breath, meaning without the method of the breath or prana. So this is the profound method of letting the mind rest naturally in its own place.
다 셈광가 셈데 동반다고 그래서나 그 동반강라 야야 셈데 사원다고 그래서나 그 가렌가지 다 가서지 동서나다 간데요나다 디간고 조지지 마지고 디간나 봐 야야 되라 되네 가서 농미 생도 농미.
So this method of without support, without breath, means to let the mind rest or be whatever rises. So if there's meditative experiences of shunyata, of emptiness, let the mind rest and be just in that. If it's clear and the clarity aspect is strongly there, so let it rest and be in that. So whatever just arises in the mind, let it just rest and be.
다 남도한테 지용나 다 남도 지기로 지용나 sem 지용나 야지 바 남도 바 베지 지에 바 그러니까 셈 고란게 간데요나 디에간지 마주 바 지용나 야스.
So when discursive thinking arises, they do arise, disperse them, let it settle actually. After discursive thinking is dispersed, naturally let the mind rest in itself.
다 땡진데 땡미 롱진데 롱미세야다 다 들라 다 거니케는 땡제던 땡미세서 다 땡미세야다 고 데지 셈데파 dim 시야지다 파셈 루네 시야데 땡미데도 셈 dim바다 레바.
So in Vipassana, before we taught Vipassana with support and without support, so these stages, and then we have without support, we have with breath or without breath. Then there's also some other methodology in shamatha where we talk shamatha with characteristic and shamatha without characteristic. So this is the two stages of tightening the mind and relaxing the mind. Shamatha with characteristic is firmly tighten your mind, focus your mind, and shamatha without characteristic is to let the mind be free, open, and settled.
다들아베나 자기는 로봉 그런 버리 송도 조람제 값서 릭발랑 가르지스 왕보다 징 릭바야 갈
Ripangarcheva.
날지바 왕보다 징对吧 Hibala taught in Bas, that in our Mapasong, those songs.
So in this context, also the great Lopen Gurumche said in the context of instructions of a completion stage practice, bring forth a strength of intrinsic awareness or Rigpa. Let your sense faculties be vivid and consciousness very sharp.
That then I look make a tattoo as a person. Then it got long trouble, Martin, that long songs together. I can't get in the chicken to Gom Jones, I get the chicken, that's on the cheese. Cap Caso, the long ma sanky, you and all. Then it require young Archia. That the to some the toba, Deba toba, Tata toba, Mamba toba, no, that page by Jane, Kim Majun, but same one over Jane. That the day, then Yaba, the name.
So there's also key points of the body posture, which we have to know and also to apply. And the eyes would stare in the space. And sometimes your own breath or prana is sometimes very forcefully expelled. I saw this personally, some practitioners who do this. And in this context, as mentioned before, to bring forth the strength of your own Rigpa awareness, intrinsic awareness, and for this, scatter all the discursive thinking of the past, present, and future, and merely behold this vivid nakedness of whatever is there.
Well, that guy the not Chunjo got the Antonio, that's on the chili. Chunjo got a map. Then the dog gum jacket cut down the Chakata over city, and then they take the so that they come inside.
So some also practice, I saw this when I was young, when they are in the stages of practice, that through the mouth, through a deep exhalation of ha, they expel the breath and stay in, and through this in the state of meditation.
Chakata over city. What they that they pay Jimbari. That low by young pass Lulu Chena, that compare Jimny, that the real player, take Kale Casananda, that the Yumura. They got the three, take a swing to what that didn't take up the same the Gobo song, didn't Lu, than same nigga, pen the same gonna Lude, the Tambor Gate weapon. Not the same, none assembly, no, not Lupo, the Tambor Idwa, or that day and the Gangan or Younger is the day by Yamba, send about Lulu Yas, Rams Yas.
So all this just mentioned before, these are all profound methods to tighten one mind, to focus fiercely, strongly one's mind in the context of completion stage practice with characteristic. And then without characteristic is to completely relax and let the mind be as it is. When we talk, mind and body go together. When we tighten the mind, both mind and body tighten, and even Rinpoche showed physical postures of tightening the body. And then when we at once abruptly let go of this, mind also lets go. And mind just rests in its own way, round up, meaning settle in its own place.
That in the college, New Monk Namdola so by Rakpachi on the Papa J. Today, Namdogan Jua Tramo somewhere, the Papa Magana, Papa Magawa in the Rang, Korangarangina, Ransor Yas.
So for this, discursive thinking, as well as also like disturbing emotions like the kleshas, the gross ones get immediately cut, but then also the subtle ones, subtle discursive thinking and kleshas, let them naturally rest in themselves.
That the note about Twin Chunjong to the Tang Mango, a Twin Tongshi, what Tanga Mawashi. The Nippy, some dream Demiag University, the same day young, go to Jungary. Young Hajan Lu Sona Young, because a singmo, the Nik one rory. What that the day you got, I go, young body can yas.
So, and the key instruction how to practice it, we should do this in many sessions, in short sessions in terms of time span, but many repetitions. And sometimes in sessions we tighten mind and body very tightly, like in this instructions which were just given, and then do do an interchange. After that, we relax the mind completely again and let it open and let it rest in itself. But if the mind is too relaxed and too settled, sometimes the obscurations to the practice come in, like as a dull mind, a sinking mind, sleepy mind even. And if this is the case, then tighten again. So we do this alternative between tightening and loosening the mind. And this actual practice of tightening and loosening, it is the actual manner of applying is not the same for everybody. It depends on the individual constituents of our body mind. Some have a very strong constituent of the earth element, for example, others a water element, or the other elements, they were not mentioned here. So whatever is needed according to your individual needs and prerequisites, practice the stages of tightening and loosening. So after we practice the stages of calm abiding of shamatha, that the mind really becomes undistracted, focused and stable, and we empower ourselves. We get self-control upon our own mind with this practice of shamatha, that the mind naturally sits and abides peacefully. After having done this, then we move on to the practice of insight meditation or vipassana. So it is important that first mind is really pacified through this practice of shamatha. Henceforth, that is calm, peaceful abiding. And only for this we can then proceed in the stages of vipassana. Which actually means, the vipassana means to behold the essence of the mind, to recognize the essence of the mind. Even though the essence of the mind is there, but if we haven't accomplished shamatha, if the mind is too stirred up by this dualistic discursive thinking and disturbing emotions, we will not be able to recognize it. And in some very very clear and very distinct instructions, it says in Tibetan, this mind which abides, directly looking into this and recognizing it, that's vipassana. So, but then for the actual stages of guiding through vipassana, when we said this mind which abides, who is actually abiding? Is it the body which abides? Is it mind which abides? So we have to investigate and analyze this.
Tene ko ngubo ge ne den ge ngubo yoro da. The tachu sa. Ti nu ka ta ko la ne de beti semina sem ne de the kande do zo kande do. Zo kande do. Tele yeb kande do. Kado kande do. Ja che chom kande do. Ta te sama te ta gu do. Te ta gu. Trugin do we. Dagam do we. Dombon do we. Rinbon do we. Tongtong do we. Ta te la so ba. Te kado karwa ma so la so. Ta kande do. Te ju tan go.
So if we come to the conclusion upon initial question, what or who abides? Oh, mind abides. So if we have a strong inclination, oh yes, mind abides in calm abiding, then we have a strong tendency to make an entity, a thingness out of this mind. So then in the next stages, it's important to investigate and analyze what constitutes this mind. Does it have a form? Is it like square or round or any other form? Does it have a color, white, red, yellow? Or does it have a size? Is it long or short? So we have to, we really think, well, there is a mind which abides as an entity. We should try to find it and investigate it.
And also make zoltungori, now a draturi, that make it one more, not one more. Nai wambo siya do tat yor wambo nga but the so ke ya make zone tong wo kap na la sem tipo che ge de wambo so la tene remotion ro do es ben make zone tong kap sa ti sem de ko make wambo le ga chi nam jo ge da tu do ka nam jo ge da ke te la wambo tin te la le ga te la just to remove o je re chi te ro do e 다야나 셈 단다 노세야데 제차블라데 메가 가서 왕보다 나 왕보다 나의 왕보 지역보 참아 제를 찹데 버리는데 다 뜻상마야 왔다 그랬어.
So for example, if we look at sense sources and sense consciousness and the object which we perceive, for example, for the sense faculty of the eye, an eye consciousness perceives a form. And for the sense faculty of the ear, an ear consciousness perceives sound. So if we look into this and analyze it, what is actually the individual process of perception? Is it individually? Do they go individually, like the eye consciousness, which perceives a shape, a form, or the sound consciousness, which perceives a sound? Are they distinctly separate, or are they together as one?
다 베팅 소소랑 루브나라 닝이와 닝다 다 로와세한다 쳔바세한다데 도노 나세야 데나게 다 주말라 소바다 다 주보가 또 기차 메기차 다 뜻도 가서 가왔네도와 가왔네도 대마베야 루찔 참 노서 참 참는 데서 다 간대 참도 참선도 간대도 참도 간대 참도 또 다고리스.
So further we look, still investigating upon this mind and consciousness. Well, how is it in relation to our organs, to my heart, to my lungs, my liver, the 5 great organs, digestive organs, the qualities of elements in there, like fire of digestion. So if the mind is really in the body, where does it abide? Is it one of these specific places just mentioned, an organ? Or if it just, we think if it pervades the body in general, well, what is the quality of this pervasive quality?
다 양난데 예미들 르다 예미들 데도 사나 데도 있잖아 근데 르드 현도가 르드 로존도 봐 근데 된 존도가 셈데 간데는 로리스 고 지과 예미나 간데는 로 송스
and if they are completely inseparable, body and mind, if they will be just one and completely inseparable and pervasive, so then if the body dies, if we pass away and the body is left behind, so what's happening with the mind then? So in this context, we have to investigate and analyze how or where does mind come from? Where does mind abide and where does it go?
다 되네. 다 샘생이 가만도 다 댕기도 남도지도 실제 중그 남도데. 다 될다고. 다 될 간데도. 그봐. 실제 중그 남도 대 코란 간데 저우다 예다더니 카도당 간데도 대 당보 간에 송송. 송사게 두수 가들이 대 가와 내도 대 담아 가는 로서 다 될다고.
So then, if we think, well, mind just calmly or peacefully abides in the context of shamatha, so we should look, well, what is actually then what qualifies this mind? What is the nature of this mind? Where does it arise, this abiding mind? Where and how does it abide? And finally, where does it go?
어때도 다 소소소는 다 치워지. 태섬을 어디다 되는지 레인도 상바지 다 치워지. 제 추타지 다 제거리 있어. 특별 개침 버리 있어.
So we need to do this until we come to a final conclusion, to a final decision without any doubt. It's very important that we reach this stage.
그래 당연히 저는 제 니시제 어디다 되는지 레인도 상서지 니시제 만종이 받을라 다때 제주단 거리 당보 샘싱이 제주단 이 샘싱이 제주단긴 거랑 따들어 다 되니까 간데도 다 제주버지고 따거리 손이
So we need to do this to analyze it till we come to this decisive conclusion with certainty. We need to gain certainty in ourselves. So first we analyze the mind. We seek the mind, what is mind, and afterwards we investigate the seeker himself. So what constitutes the seeker, this mind which seeks? So if we do this, then we come to a point without doubt and gain certainty.
다 되네 되지 다 돼서 망보도 제단 제가는 다 되네 간도스나 남도 세야데 세미마 다 제고 나도 다 제서도 제가 다도 망보래 남도 셈스 다 제바 남도 세야데 간내리 돌와 셈 the Lord Chubaki Mahimba, Namdo Sems Tajiba. Namajo, now you're the Tamija, Semi Tajiba. And this same da Nebada and Joasia Zawa Tajiba. Ta Kari Hana, Sim the Kari Hana, Kiva Mebalti Tajiba. That goes only.
So we have to come to decisive conclusions. So there's actually lots to say about these stages here in the long commentaries. The next stage is to come to a decisive conclusion that discursive thinking is mind itself. So if we analyze discursive thinking, we recognize it's not different from mind. We recognize it's mind itself, discursive thinking. The next stage is to recognize that all appearances are in fact mind, to come to a decisive conclusion about that. And then in relation to the mind, the abiding aspect of mind, the arising, abiding, and dissolving aspect of mind, if we analyze it, we recognize it that it is unborn, actually, it is mind, and this stages of arising, abiding, and disappearing. So through all these stages, we have to come to decisive conclusion and gain certainty.
That the nigga touch if it told that the nita, Tanda Simodo, Mote, Singo, Mote, Siade. Henedan, Tanda Lantonga and Bate Tamji Gom, send the Teju down. The Nita Taju number year, not what the Chies I do. Nita, the name Motu Chigdota, Semo drinking. That got a gigging is another swing water, the Lama saving that, gigging on the counter. They take it down Motu Chig. So that there is at it, same the north of the Jago, same what yes.
So we have to go through these whole stages, stage by stage, and again, always come to a decisive conclusion. First, we practice, as mentioned briefly, the practice of shamatha, calm abiding. And after that, we practice the different levels of insight meditation, vipassana. We search, investigate, look for the mind. And then just what was mentioned before, we go through the stages of 4 or 5-fold decisive conclusions. And after we've done that all, then is the actual introduction in the nature of the mind, where your teacher or your lama directly introduces into the nature of the mind and points out and says, this is the nature of your mind.
That's what trigger some Dante. I think that trigger Damakati Shalom Serva, Dragon Chudaki, Tishalon, I did Damakati Shalom, that in Danda the court, and Landongo court, the knitting or Rugo court, that trigger, that Hiprat Mambodova, that the Tamanga Chagmarva. That Chaja Chimbo Seadela, Tanda Chachi Gangama, Telobaki, Naropala. Song yo, the Chuma Kangan, Ya Chuma Kangan song yo, that did on a sona. Chaja Chimbo, Ding the Miji Jans, Chaja Chimbo say the thing Jimmy song. Benas, Namka Gangi Kana things. They get on his Chaja Chilla, then your miss. But Namka sing the content thing, Namka is the Kana do those. Gankis, Namka did it sing it. Kanza and the Swan that Kanza and the Swan that Ganki, that is singing Ganki, then it can last. Swakela, then the increase. A bit taking into the ranking Saja Chela, and there is in that thing like the means on the thing you means.
So there is the distinctive way of presenting all the stages according to the 5-fold path of Mahamudra, for example, in the Shelong, in the oral commentary of Ratnadharma Kirti, this famous Drikung Lama. So there's this actual, all these details of guiding the students through shamatha practice, vipassana practice, and then the stages of a direct introduction into the nature of the mind. But if we talk about this, the actual significance of Mahamudra, if we look in another Mahamudra commentary, it's called the Ganges Mahamudra, where Tilopa at the river Ganges pointed out the essence of Mahamudra to Naropa. It says that actually Mahamudra in actuality cannot be shown. So there's no support as Mahamudra can be shown very much as the sky cannot be pointed out. So you could say it cannot be shown or not, it's without support. So if you look into the sky, you cannot limit the sky with your finger and say this here is actually the sky. So there's no support upon which the sky abides. And in the same sense, there's no actual support or no way to point out to say this is exactly Mahamudra. There's no object, so to say, very technically speaking, upon which the essence of Mahamudra abides.
Sem Majuba, Sem Koranga, Numa, Tarangindo Karnako, Nello, Die, Nandola, Lulu, in the Yat, Lula, King but Lunas, King Deva Deva, Paluiana, they travel to some of Maris.
And further it says, stay very relaxed in its innate place without any fabrication. Resting in this, in true mode of abiding, completely release into this recognition of the essence. Or in other contexts, it is said, if you release the tight grip of holding, there is liberation. There is no doubt about that.
The Peyanas, Bernas, Namkil Tena, Tunga and Ganolis, Namkil Tena, Tunga Gabanjos. But they can do similar. Tavar Shiva Yena, in a number of Sot and Jingane. In the land may be changed to combat Tabloris.
So it says, In another example here, also in the Ganga Mahamudra, if you look in the center of the vast open sky, the looking itself dissolves into the sky. Similarly, if mind looks in itself, discursive thinking naturally subsides, and you will reach the unsurpassed state of Buddhahood.
가돈 된데 예ම් 된데 대 담제 번데 말이지. 대인도 자는지 개와 딕바 게 까르보 나보스야 그티 추기 되겠다. 게데까나 추지들이 그바 먹어 버리지. 그발면 좋았지.
So the sky is naturally, it's unstained. It is without ground, vast and open. And we cannot point out to the sky. And particularly, it is beyond any characteristics of any form, any color. We cannot say the sky is predominantly blue or black or white. It is free of all these superimpositions or states. Likewise, the essence of the nature of the mind is beyond any characteristics. It's beyond any shapes, beyond any colors, completely beyond that. It is beyond any superimpositions of virtuous and non-virtuous dharma, so-called black or white accumulations of dharma. It is completely unstained and beyond that.
다 까바 똥게 문바게 됐는 거 말이지. 됐면톱시. 까바 똥게 문바요나 됐는이버리. 배 대견도 랑게 생기 닝보데 랑게 생기 닝보 우사바데 이 까바게 까바는 코라게 됐는이지. 거베 됐는이버리.
Another example given in this Ganga Mahamudra, it is said the clear luster center of the essence of the sun is always shining and clear, and not even 1,000 eons of darkness could obscure the sun in its essence. Likewise, this essence of the nature of the mind is by nature luminous clear light, and no accumulation, no biding of mind in samsara for eons could obscure this essence of the nature of the mind, of clear luminosity. So, and likewise, it is said, this mind, completely free of any reference point, this is Mahamudra. If we get accustomed in this, and if we practice this, we will reach for this the unsurpassed state of Buddhahood.
What is that? Sorry. Tanda Nanzu Chidam Deropena Chaja Chimbos. Uma Chimbos, Goba Chimbos, that has awesome said. Ingoro, that thing do than the checking Malan and Song of the Yiji Travan the Chaja Chis. Chaja Chimbos, the other Kan Yil Miziba. The Chaja Chimbo is. Then there in them Marisia eat the Miziba Chachimbo is. Tada draw on my chimboys. Driven that some draws one on my chimboys, Tada draw on my chimboys. That the Tamke going to do the Zokin Zoba chimboys on the then you could do Zoki. Then the Chaja chimbos, the other, Zoba chimbos, the other, on my chimbos, the other. Then the social meva go to Chakim Malan song to a day.
Mhm. So very often we talk about the three great generations, the great Madhyamaka, the great Mahamudra, and great Dzogchen. And in another famous prayer in Mahamudra aspiration of the third Karmapa, it says, Mahamudra is that which is completely beyond the activity of mind, beyond of superimposing characteristics of mind being, for example, this is this, or it's exactly like that, completely free of that. That's Mahamudra. Completely beyond any extremes or free of any elaboration, that's Madhyamaka. And that which all encompasses all of this is the great perfection or Dzogchen. So, so Rinpoche would basically like to conclude the instructions with this.
Go song to se da lama sanji ge da go song to go ji di song ji di to ji di go song to ji sten gro da tin de na ne da zo de song de ngaran zu ga de da就是去龙居呀也吧这送的吧da tin de da ti song ge ji se ten be真是咱们给这样子的当然我定给就话么送我定给他我就去做的
So again, today is this very special day, the 25th or the Kini day in Sakadawa. It's this very special and auspicious day, particularly also related to Lord Chikten Sumgen. And from all his qualities, his enlightened quality of enlightened body, enlightened speech, and enlightened mind, particularly precious and valuable for us is the speech. The enlightened speech is, in fact, that which we can enjoy through the Dharma, through his instructions and words. And based on this, Rinpoche was pleased to give today this commentary, this short commentary, based on the enlightened speech of Lord Chikten Sumge and the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra. So for this, Rinpoche would like to conclude this teaching. There's nothing special more to add on top, except saying Tashi Delek. Usually I would say it in the beginning. Since I haven't said it in the beginning, I say now Tashi Delek to all of you, and I'm very pleased we could meet again.
Nyaya namo jokjuri simde shik chomdande lama yiram joksum sedangji jingdil drang yegelwam narapcham kun damche senjing dagla gong susil Dingne dakshen kanyam tamjeki Lungagi sumgi jege wahele Dusum sakpege wam jinyedang Dene yupege wam drimennam Dute jangju janbe jing sungo 세체결외 검바다르진네 내식남 기강바영족쇼k 릭트를 거르르된 베사첸기압 내진세 베트린레다르진네 직텐데진드로 근줄아쯧 Nel giore che ci pelghi giovar sciok, Judru karven ungel gunjangni, namkien sok besengen jurtop shok, jukien dendrel me jongel kepe, gewe tawam sakpe duktenne, korvarene bedusum semjengnam, rangrib den gigong den gjorene, 근상 주배 예시 사근속 드립 트레고지 롱도는 규르직 젠든 믹메들 제진 율징 무당 삼배 주기 저른 일징 들잠도르제 숨도 민제네 근상의 양배롱도 상계쇼k 세리루제 미탁덤배체 중계 감근을 인계 싱두족 바르도르겐라메 그르젠네 상겐드렐 제tor교르 셈젠근 가준의 속해지게 바르쇼k 예셰랑 건드를 봐도 마이 들제줄곤 맹쟁들을 교르네 라메단 기들의 부도 바르쇼k. Namo Bhagavan Sugatas in the 10 directions and the 3 times. Guru, Yiram, and 3 jewels, all infinite victors, as many as the grains of dust in a field. All of you, please listen and pay heed to us. From now on, as much virtue as the virtuous actions performed by ours and others' body, speech, and mind equal to space, accumulated throughout the 3 times, and the stainless virtue existing from the beginning, is dedicated together in the expanse of awakening. Having arrived at the state of knowledge of the victors with their children, may the state of knowledge of the Sugatas be totally perfected. The great stages are pervaded by the demonstration of the wheel of knowledge and liberation. May the holders of those stages, having perfected their activities, carry happiness to the world and Dharma to all migrating beings. And may yogins be satisfied with the glory of the 10 virtues. Having purified all the suffering of the samsara of the 6 causes, may we quickly obtain the omniscience of complete Buddhahood. Depending on the force of the cumulative roots of virtue arising from amazing connections of causes and condition, may the sentient beings of the 3 times who exist in samsara, having actualized the ultimate knowledge of their own awareness, perfecting all stages of primordial wisdom through the conduct of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, abide in the supreme space free of obscurations. Without objectifying the meaningful benefit of others, according to the capacity of disciples, the rain of Dharma falls corresponding with their interest. Having ripened disciples into the state of the 3 Vajas, may they obtain Buddhahood in the vast dimension of Buddha Samantabhadra. In this life, the life that is conditioned, impermanent and empty, the constituents of the 5 elements are complete as a Buddha field of the 5 families. Having arisen in the form of the Guru of Odhyana in the Bardo, may all sentient beings led by those with whom one has positive and negative connections immediately go to the Kacharya abode. Having ripened and liberated the whole range of disciples through many emanations, the appearances of one's own primordial wisdom, may they all obtain the unsurpassed ultimate result. Samaya, Gya, Gya, Gya. And the long life prayer for Drikung Lo Ontul Rinpoche. Nyoyam Jeying Zagme Langzer Amgepen Sangzom Mise Genki Gorlepul Pakshike Yung Haryam Tarame Dengdir Jime Druppe Gamdönzel Yidam Zangbe Kunjog Dungnam Yen Drang Yedrola Tarpe Sapöntrün Drupten Gjeljang Dagla Mingelwam Gejog lama dambe japtensel, namdab gelam jorba lurlenjing, rime jamze nangwagen lam yom, mame yanten denke japtenjing, drime zezang joki dark yapshok. Aryatarama, mother of the four orders of noble ones, you who are the ultimate perfection of unceasing wheel of adornment, of the three secrets of beauty and youthful charm of the stainless dimension of ultimate reality, today please grant us a veritable festival of the accomplishment of deathlessness. Purely serving the deities of meditation and taking the three rare and precious jewels as your crown, you who plant the seed of ultimate liberation in countless living beings, unwearyingly raising the victory banner of practice and instruction, Supreme Being, excellent teacher, we beseech you to live a long life. Remain here with us, you whose entire effort is directed toward the gathering of pristine merit, who manifest impartial love and kindness, falling equally upon one and all, whose enlightened qualities are utterly immaculate, and may your stainless good deeds fill all directions to the very limits of space. The long life prayer for low karma Ratna Rinpoche. Nyaya namo guru dakini, jeying sel gamzang yambelong, de menang terikse orgenje, ning du men sel du geyen tendrel, Rik zellerang jongdren medroamdil, zongjo garigude chendorjeku, mishik pelden zangbor jangtensel, lundrub jamzo pema kandrötel, ogminde chendum beden böde, Shedrup korloni den dongangling, ringlup chodu gundo dark yeshog. Namo Guru Dakini. To the spiritual master and the Dakini I bow down. In the vast expanse of Samantabhadra, the radiant luminosity of the ultimate space of absolute reality, is the Lord of Udayana, son and lineal descent of the primordial Buddha Amitabha, the emanation of enlightened qualities who dispels the darkness of this time of the 5 degenerations and trains disciples. Self-arisen lamp of the display of pure awareness, tamer of living beings, imperishable bodily form of the great bliss of the 9 dance moods of primordial unity, may the life force of Pelden Zangpo be indestructible and firm, and may the tradition of the island of Sutra and Tantra, adorned with the wheels of study and practice, the community of the quintessence of the teachings of the Enlightened One, of the bliss-endowed realm, second to none, grove of the Padma Dakinis in the spontaneously manifested lake, spread throughout all of space and time.
That's all right.
Maybe Ratna Rinpoche wants to say some words.
Tashi everyone. Tashi Lama Mark.
Tashi Dada Rinpoche.
So, since almost 2 months back, we, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, then under the guidance and blessings of Lord Rinpoche, we initiated the Dribung COVID-19 welfare measures. And I would say we have been able to, to provide some help with basic essential things to some of the vulnerable and needy or poor people from our section of society. And for roughly, we have distributed food items and other items such as face masks, sanitizers, and stationaries uh, to the standard school children, because the schools have been shut. We provided them with some stationaries and also monetary help to many individuals, many families, and also one or two organizations. So we are very happy. We are very pleased with all the hard work that basically our monks uh, have done. And also, all of this would not have been possible without the generous donations that we have received from our friends, students, well-wishers, and so roughly for the relief, I would call it relief work. We have spent around 15,000 US dollars, and so that we did it in 4 phases. So the details of it, we are still in the process of concluding everything. It is taking us a little bit time because of some conditions of our own. And but so roughly we have been able to distribute food rations or essential items of around $15,000 to various families and individuals uh, who you know who specifically belong in the vulnerable or the poor section of people from our society. So that is one thing that we have been able to achieve, and that we did it in 4 phases, and that is the kind of the first level. And in the second level, then we especially we ourselves being in a monastery and being part of a monastery, being part of a institution, we did what we could as providing material things such as rations and other essential items. But then on the other hand, we as said earlier, we as being in a monastery, as being a practitioner of Buddha Dharma, and we have this Sangha here, and not only having Sangha here, and we have we are fortunate that Rinpoche is here with us during these difficult and uncertain times. So because of all these conditions, then we thought that it would be spiritually we have to do something, and then under the guidance and blessings of Ontul Rinpoche, then we started, or we initiated the 100 million Vajraguru mantra recitation. And this we started on the 23rd of May, and today is 15th of June. and we are now planning to conclude this 100 million Vajraguru mantra recitation on the 21st of Gregorian calendar, which is according to the lunar calendar. It is the new moon, the 30th day of Sagadawa. So in the 6:30 a.m. according to Indian Standard Time, according local Indian time, then we will be doing the 7-line supplication Guru Yoga practice along with the Gana Chakra offering, and then we will be concluding the 100 million Vajraguru mantra recitation on that particular day. Because of two reasons. One is that in Western terms, so to say, we have achieved our target. Our target was 100 million, but at the end of this month, at the end of the Sagadawa month, we will be having more than 100 million. We will be having more than 300 million Vajraguru mantra recitation. So I am very happy to announce this in advance, and I rejoice in all the merits and all the virtues that we have accumulated. So then on the new moon, which is on the 21st, then we will be concluding the 100 million Vajraguru mantra recitation with the Guru Yoga practice of 7-line supplication, accompanied with Sok. And this is 6:30 a.m. 21st June Indian local time. And then in the evening of 21st June, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and in North America, it would be roughly around, 9:30, 10:30, something like that. And in some part of the Asia, such as Malaysia and Singapore, this will be around 5, 6, something like that. And so what we Rinpoche and we have planned to mark this successful, auspicious conclusion of 100 million worldwide, Vajra Guru Mantra recitation. We will conclude it with a virtual Gana Chakra offering. So in the morning of 21st, in our monastery, we will be doing Gana Chakra offering, and then in the evening of 21st, then we will be doing a virtual Sok. So here at Rinpoche's residence, near the altar, we will set up the offerings and the Sok offerings, and I would suggest that all of you who wish to participate in this virtual Sok offering, then to collect some eatables and drinkables objects, and then we can do this practice of Guru Yoga and the Sok together, and then later we can all enjoy in the feast that we have gathered. So this is all I wanted to say. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lama Mark, and thank you everyone.
Wonderful. Am I mute? No.
Yes, Lama.
Thank you so much, Lo Rinpoches, and thank you so much Loa Ontul Rinpoche for such glorious teaching. And someday when you have the opportunity, Rinpoche, if it's possible to give the reading transmission of the Fivefold Mahamudra, the reading of the text, that would be wonderful. If there's an opportunity someday, and also the Ganges Mahamudra reading transmission and maybe further explanations would be wonderful for all of us as teachings and blessings. So thank you, Rinpoche, from our hearts. Glorious. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just gave more work to do.